Welcome back to the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased, except ours. I'm Colin.
I'm Craig.
And I'm Sensei Daniel.
And we have come to the end of Cobra Kai, so I must say farewell to the valley. This journey of 6 seasons through 7 years is now finished, my friends. Here at last, at the conclusion of Season 6, comes the end of Cobra Kai. I will not say do not weep, for not all tears are an evil.
Did you look up that quote?
I wrote it down. I wanted to say it at the end of our Cobra Kai. This will be the last time until we do the review on the new Karate Kid. That's coming out, I believe, in July. Or maybe May. Maybe it was May. I don't remember. But the story of Johnny Lawrence and his redemption is over. So what did you guys think of Cobra Kai Season 6, Part 3?
I'll give you my thoughts, but
Mm-hmm.
I did want to mention how it's kind of, like you said, this is our last Cobra Kai. And I think we really started redoing the podcast. I think, what was it, Season 3 of Cobra Kai we reviewed?
Yeah, us coming back we did Cobra Kai, I believe. Or was it the Karate Kid?
I can't remember which one, but I thought it was Cobra Kai, then we did the Karate Kid.
Yeah, maybe it was it. Yeah.
It's just funny that we've come, not full circle, but, beginning of the end of an era, I guess.
Yeah. I have nothing to look forward to now on Netflix.
He's canceled that subscription.
So, Craig, what did you think of Cobra Kai Season 6, Part 3?
I thought it was good. I thought it was a really good ending to the show.
Yeah, that's it? That's all you thought?
Well, of course I think more, but I'd already just give initial
Daniel, what
thoughts.
did you think of Cobra Kai, the ending?
Yeah, no, I agree that it did a nice job tying up everything and ending on a good note.
Yeah, I agree. I was a little nervous after Part 1, because Part 1 felt stretched out. It was not very good, Part 1. At least by Cobra Kai standards, it was not very good at all. And then Part 2 made me more optimistic, and I'm glad they stuck the landing for Part 3. I still don't see why it got stretched into 3 parts. Realistically, they could have removed episodes from Part 1 and 2, and then they could have kept the regular 5 of Part 3.
Maybe they're trying to hit that syndication number. I don't know.
Because all the other seasons were 10 episodes, and this one came in 3 parts, 5 episodes each part. But we're just talking about Part 3. Yeah, I liked it. It was really good. Great ending. A lot of unexpected things that I did not expect to happen, and there'll be spoilers after this, but my one theory that I kept on saying never happened, and I feel like such an idiot that it never happened. I kept on saying that Hilary Swank was going to appear at some point in the last season to give Daniel a consolation about, Miyagi running around and assaulting somebody, which we do find out what happened, but no Hilary Swank. And I felt like that was they could have easily added her, unless she didn't want to come back. They brought back one of the guys from the original tournament. Oh, yeah, you did look it up, Craig?
Yeah, she didn't want to come back.
Really?
Well,
Okay.
I think she wanted a larger role, and they just wanted to give her a cameo, from what I quickly read. So they did have her in mind.
Role.
Oh, wow.
Larger role. She's in the worst Karate Kid.
Well, that, and she's only in one of the movies too. It's not like they really need to give her a big role.
Yeah, that's true. She really turned it down because they wouldn't give her a bigger role?
I have to reread what the creator said, but from what I gathered, I've been reading a lot of Cobra Kai stuff. From whatever my hold brain can remember is, she didn't seem to want to do it. She wanted more of a bigger role.
Wow. Yeah, like Daniel said, she was in the worst Karate Kid movie. I don't know what she could have told Daniel about Miyagi that he didn't know already, so I guess there's that angle. But it would have been cool to have that little cameo, but I guess she wanted more. I don't know. I was definitely shocked. I'm sure you fellas were. The end of Sensei Kreese and Terry Silver. I don't think anyone expected that. Where they both explode on Terry Silver's giant boat.
I remember when I first watched that. Well, the best is the build-up when I saw that the gas got spilled,
Yeah.
and I
I
saw the piece of cigar, and I was like, "No way, no way!"
When they're on the top deck, when they're fighting, before the cigar even gets thrown out, you see the propane tank. So I was like, oh no, what's going to happen here? It was so obvious, like it was in the background of every shot, the big propane tank. So I knew something was going to happen. I thought Kreese survived at first. Like last second, they don't show him jumping off, but he did.
I mean, God, he's like a Superman if he survived that.
I thought he jumped off last second, but no, I was not expecting Terry Silver to die like that. And we find out that he is dying, and he wants this tournament as his last win in life because he doesn't have any kids. He doesn't have a lot of mansions anymore. He spent all of his money on probably his legal team to get him out of that whole debacle at the end of season 5.
So I just quickly reread the Hilary Swank thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying if she had been included, the ending would have been less seamless and less emotionally rewarding. And I think that's a cop out for stuff from behind the scenes because they were throwing cameos left and right.
Yeah, like I
They could have
said,
included her in
they
any
brought in
moment.
that one guy from the original tournament with the
I
slick back
know.
hair up, and they had to show a flashback to let you know it was a guy from the original tournament.
Yeah, I had no idea who he was.
Nobody
It was like
would have
the-
known that.
Well, it was like the other part where the guy, one of the main goon that was working for Silver, that he was from the third Karate Kid.
Oh, in part 2? Or was that part
Yeah,
1?
I forget, but you know which guy I'm talking about.
Yeah, I remember.
He was one of the guys in the bonsai shop as Mike Barnes was trying to kill him.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, the ending is very nice. So, I guess, Craig, why don't you just recap what happens very briefly? You don't have to do episode by episode, but you can just give us a streamlined sequence of events that happens.
See, this is more annoying with the TV shows, especially these soap opera, the karate soap opera, where
The
everything's
Miyagi-Verse.
constantly changing. You know, like oh, it's like, oh, now this new thing changes. So yeah, it picks up from part 2 where I don't remember the guy's name died,
Quan.
and so the Kwan, so the Sekai Tekai, you know, they end it because obviously a child dies on live TV, so you kind of have to end the thing, and basically they mull around for a bit. Are we going to come back? And of course they come back, and they're training for the tournament.
Yeah, they come back because while Gunther's the guy who runs it. He is in a isolated he's in an isolated area getting a massage, and Terry Silver, like a creep, just somehow finds him. He's just watching him get massaged. Continue, Craig. I'm sorry, I just want to add that little detail.
Well, you give me somebody
know.
do a quick synopsis, and
All
you're
right,
undercutting me. What is this?
All right.
Yeah, so they bring back the Sekai Tekai, and then they have it in the valley because some arrangement happened. They wanted to have it in the valley. I know what it was. I'm trying to be quick.
Mm-hmm.
So they have the Sekai Tekai. Basically, all of Miyagi-Do quit because they're like, well, we're all about defense and we don't want to keep fighting. And also, Robbie got his leg smashed, so Miyagi-Do kind of quits.
I was not expecting that.
So then everyone rejoins as Cobra Kai. Kreese gives it back to Johnny, and then they fight at Cobra Kai. And Cobra Kai wins, but ended up being a tie. Even though their two people won their fights, there was a tie. So then Johnny has to go fight in the valley again and finally get his redemption. And he marries Carmen. A bunch of good stuff happens. Happy ending.
Yeah. Can we just talk about how dumb the tiebreaker is where your senseis have to fight each other? What if your karate sensei is an 80-year-old man, like Sensei
Of
Kreese?
course, it's stupid.
And then you have some hotshot 35-year-old sensei. Like, how's that even fair? Obviously, I know what it's trying to do. It's trying to... Any dummy can see it. They're just trying to redeem Johnny because his life is building up to this point. He finally found purpose. And I did like that at the end, Daniel was telling him, like whatever happens, you won. I really like that because Johnny has been a caveman throughout this series, and his caveman brain would have been like, oh, my life is riding on this moment, even though I'm almost a 60-year-old man. Like I like that Daniel had to tell him, you already won. There's nothing else you could do. Just like, go out, try to win, but if you don't, it's not a big deal.
Oh yeah, I like that too because, like you said, he did win in life. He finally manned up. He got his life in order. He got reconnected with the son. He connected with Miguel, who's basically his other son. Has another child, so then he buys a house too, marries the woman who's good for him. So yeah, he won. This guy Wolf. I mean, we don't know much about him, but he's probably only doing karate, so he's probably very lonely and not really winning at the rest of life.
Yeah, and he's beating his students. He was beating his student in front of everybody. I was like, how is no one seeing this?
I mean, we see this in real life sports where some people will sacrifice their family for their career, and it usually never works out for them. But he did win, but obviously it's a TV show, so you want to see the old man win. And I'm referring to Johnny.
Yeah, and I love the "You're the best" playing during the training
Oh,
contest,
no.
just like Rocky. That was so awesome.
I was
Gotcha,
literally
amp.
laughing. I was laughing when they actually did the crowd following him like Rocky. I was like, wait, what?
Oh, I love it. It's such an over-the-top 80s
I know.
montage.
They made that Rocky connection because if anyone
I
doesn't
know.
know, Rocky doesn't win in his first fight, but he just wanted to not embarrass himself, essentially. Like, that's all he cared about in the first movie. He didn't care about winning or losing. He just wanted to show up and do well.
Yeah, then like what Dino-san said in the show. Yeah, he didn't win the fight, but he got the respect of everybody and essentially won the fight morally, not necessarily physically.
Yeah. Because if you look at it at a surface level, not taking account all the stuff, what it means for Johnny, you'd be thinking, like, this karate match means a lot to a 55-year-old man. Like, what? But obviously, this is what's been building up to. We know thematically what it means. God, that montage just gets you amped up at the end.
Well, so it makes you feel good too, like how far these characters have gone. Johnny's not being a caveman anymore. Like obviously the the loss was going to probably weigh on him, but he was, like you said, he definitely grew up a bit, wasn't as concerned about the fight as he probably would have been if it was season one.
Oh yeah, and I like also, if I remember correctly, doesn't you said everyone steps down? Doesn't Daniel step down too? Like Miyagi-Do forfeits because they really have nothing to fight for. They don't really care. Because Johnny even says to Daniel that when they're still mulling over whether or not they should continue the tournament, he said, "I probably want it more than the kids."
Well, did he step down because when Samantha quit, that was the end of them. So I don't think he necessarily stepped down. Like the dojo was out already, so he didn't really have to do anything at
Ah,
that
that's
point.
right. Let me see. I'm gonna look through the Wikipedia because, to be fair, I did see this last week as of this recording, and by last week, 'cause this probably isn't gonna come out till March. I saw it as soon as it came out. As soon as it dropped on Netflix. I'm a true Cobra Kai fan. Let's see. Sam hesitates about fighting her match against Tori and ultimately decides not to. Oh yeah. So once Sam resigns, then Miyagi-Do also resigns because she was the only student. Because yeah, Robbie got his leg broken.
Which it seems kind of, again, we're talking about dumb rules, not to nitpick the show to death, but yeah, imagine doing an illegal kick on somebody or legal. I think they said it was legal, but obviously it's not. Like destroying someone's knee really shouldn't be a strategy to victory.
Can we talk about what was the worst episode of this bunch? And by worst episode, I mean the worst part that didn't make any sense was the VR training session. That made no sense.
Oh my god.
And this takes place still in 2019, right? So AI would kind of exploded during the pandemic. So
So
this is the pre-AI
yeah,
explosion.
I don't understand how it works because it projects Axel in Robbie's headset. Sure, whatever, that's fine. But they're trying to make it simulate like it's Axel fighting, but they literally cannot do that. No matter how hard Miguel tries, they cannot simulate that at all. So the simulation and the VR thing is useless because it can't
Well,
do the
yeah,
one
he's
thing
like a
it's
foot
supposed to
shorter.
do. Well, not even that. Well, yeah, that's actually a pretty big part of it. But just like the fight style and how fast he could throw his punches and kicks, Miguel can't emulate that.
Weren't they saying, I don't know, something like stimulates his whatever, and he tries tells him to move like whatever Axel was doing?
Yeah, but still, it's nowhere near the same thing.
No. I know what you're saying. I'm trying to. It's a soap opera TV show. I give a lot of leeway with stuff like this. Granted, this is probably the most technologically insane thing they've done in the show.
This two goons just make that whole little device.
Because they like to throw a lot of pop culture references around. I was thinking of Captain America: Civil War, where it, like analyzes fight patterns.
That was more realistic than this.
But that's what I was thinking. Maybe they're trying to think of, Captain America, Iron Man, trying to train him based on his moveset. No, I'm not trying to defend it, but maybe that's
Yeah,
where they
like
got
I'm
the
not gonna
inspiration
nitpick
from.
it because again, it's a stupid karate show. Where,
Yeah, it's not stupid. It's a karate soap
well,
opera.
when I mean stupid, I don't mean
I
like
know. It's not
actually
serious.
stupid. So I guess let's talk about what happens to all the characters at the end. Their big journeys. I think Dimitri is a big dummy because I know he wanted to be friends and stay in touch with Eli, the Hawk, but he leaves MIT to join Caltech. Seems
I mean,
like
Caltech is a good school.
is
And,
it? I have no idea.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's an Ivy League school, but let me check.
It ain't no MIT, right?
I mean, it's not really. Yeah, it's not an Ivy League, but it's considered a top school.
Okay.
But we all went to college, and I think it's better to stay in state and be closer to your support system as opposed to leaving the entire, like going half all the way across the country to be with a bunch of strangers.
Well,
Still a good school.
Well, Craig, that segues into what happens to Sam, where she doesn't want to go to UCLA. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, she wants to go to Okinawa for a year for reasons.
Well, she said it was, I guess to see where Mr. Miyagi lived and blah blah blah.
But it's totally out of nowhere. But let's see, Robbie, he gets a scholarship at the end, or no, it was an endorsement, even though he got his leg broken in front of everybody watching the Sekai Tekai, which apparently is like everybody who's anyone. He gets an endorsement.
They had the cameo from was it Ryan Clark and Kevin Burkhardt.
Oh my God! Yes, they did. They were announcing it. Kevin Burkhardt, if anyone doesn't know, is the lead play-by-play announcer on Fox, and then Ryan Clark is just some guy on ESPN.
He was famous for having sickle cell.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, he was not
Yeah,
even
when
an
they had Ryan,
announcer. Why'd they have him?
yeah, when they had Ryan Clark, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, he's not even.
Well,
Honestly-
it's good. It's good he's in the
honestly-
valley because if it was at the
well,
mountain, he wouldn't be able to do it.
Honestly, they should have had Dan Orlovsky and Booger. That
Can you
would've been
imagine
so
it was in
much better.
Colorado?
Mm.
Ryan Clark
Yeah.
really couldn't go.
Yeah, CinemaSins. I'm gonna ding it. Ryan Clark can't be in Colorado announcing.
What else was I gonna say?
Imagine Booger called the tournament. You see the guy kicked him and knocked him out. That's a victory. Like, thanks, Booger.
Well, don't forget he's in his booger mobile. So also, Tori with a Y, she gets a scholarship too, or not? I keep saying a scholarship. She gets an endorsement, and then her and Robbie become like some karate power couple where they are endorsed and they do tournaments worldwide.
Yeah,
Sure.
so I think they would teach people and stuff.
Yeah, sure, whatever, sure.
I mean,
yeah, you
I
go.
think it makes sense because Tori, I don't think she'd be able to. Both of them couldn't graduate college, right? Or not college, high school. I think Tori was, she was like missing. I think she dropped out of high school.
Yeah,
I
because
remember.
ever since her mom died, she had to. And
Yeah, it said Robbie
Robbie,
was falling behind.
yeah. Oh, what was his excuse to falling behind? Is he just a dummy?
Well,
At least
wasn't he-
Tori had
remember
an
he was on the-
excuse.
well, was he on the run for a bit? He probably missed years of school. Like,
But then he
remember
came back. This is the new semester. They all came back at the start of season 6. It was the new school year, and this is towards the end of the school year. So what happened to him?
I don't remember, and I don't think it's important.
I know it's not important. I'm just saying. At least she had an excuse. What's this dummy's excuse? He's just like ditching class.
Have you seen my dad?
Miguel gets a scholarship from Stanford, which is something he's always wanted since season 4 or 5. So that felt well deserved. Let's see what else. They finally
They
resolved.
made a big point too to mention
yes.
that it was based off his grades and character, not his karate skills, which I don't think really matters either way. Like if you get in, you get in. But
Yeah, but yeah, good for him that he really thought. Well, the whole thing. Remember the drama was it part 1? Was that he was mad that Robbie was the captain because the captain
Yeah.
gets all the recognition, I guess.
Potentially could get a scholarship.
Yeah, but I'm glad. You know what? He was
Yeah.
good enough. He didn't need a scholarship to get into Stanford.
It was also nice to see him to fight Axel.
Yeah, but the rage in his eyes when Axel broke Robbie's leg. The malice.
Also, see Axel like Sam too, so that had been building up. There's no way they're gonna have Robbie win it all for them as champion. I was like, it started with Miguel. It has
Yeah.
to. It had to end with
Well,
him.
yeah, it started with Miguel and Johnny. Mostly
well, that's
Johnny.
what. Yeah, that's why I was happy those two kind of concluded the show. Those two
Yeah.
getting their victories.
I was happy that Tori took it too.
Yeah, because
She went through a lot, and she didn't start. She wasn't an instigator like Sam was early on.
but also for Samantha or Sam, it didn't really matter if she won or not. Her life's kind of set. That's why it didn't. That's why Johnny fought. That's why Daniel didn't fight because his life's already set. He doesn't need this victory. He doesn't need to even be in the fight. It means more to Johnny. It means more to. I mean, obviously we know this, but it means more to Tori. Those people needed the victories.
Yeah,
Granted, you could say Robbie needed it too, but obviously wanted
Yeah.
to start with the OG or end with the OGs.
Especially when it went through that emotional scene of Tori trying to fight to be the captain, but they pulled her from the fight.
well, she wasn't in the right headspace at that moment.
But it's a moment like that where she's trying to work through it.
Well, I
you
know. I know.
she-
By the way, I think out of all the acting, I still think that's the best acting in Cobra Kai. Them screaming
Oh,
at
no.
each other in that heat of moment. I thought that was really well done. Best
Oh,
part
no, I thought-
of part 1.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like the CGI Miyagi.
That was a weird
I
scene.
completely forgot too. I mean,
They actually did it.
I hope at this point this is the last we'll ever see of Miyagi. Oh, I was gonna say they resolved what happened to Miyagi. Wasn't it something that somebody stole something from him? It was the pearl necklace. Somebody stole that from him because that was from Mr. Miyagi's wife, and then Mr. Miyagi found that
It
guy
was-
and beat him to a pulp.
Oh, it wasn't it his wife died in the internment camp right during World War II.
Yeah, something like that.
And then one of the guards took the necklace from her, and then so he tracked the guy down and beat him
Yeah,
up to take it back.
beat him to a pulp.
I just feel like that entire arc is not necessary. Like you don't need to do this. Like, oh, is he really not a perfect guy? To then be like, yeah, he is in the end.
He did steal from his dead wife, but did Miyagi have to go and beat that guy up to a pulp within 1 inch of death?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Listen, Colin,
I get
all life is karate.
That's true. The way of the
But-
fist, as Sensei Kreese once said. Were you gonna
Now,
say, Craig?
there could be stuff that I'm forgetting because of the holes in my brain, but do we ever resolve the Mr. Miyagi fighting the Sekai Tekai plot thread?
I don't remember. Didn't he kill somebody?
Yeah, because I remember they said he was like one of the first people to fight in it. I remember he showed people the headband, and I don't remember getting much resolution from that. Now that could I know that was mainly in part two. Didn't touch upon it at all in part three. I'm trying to remember if they resolved that plot line because I don't think
I
they did.
I don't think they did either. I don't see anything. I looked up, did Miyagi kill his opponent on Google, and it just says it reveals a dark storyline in part two, or a dark secret, and I don't see anything posted recently. This is all from November. I don't think they
Yeah,
resolved that.
yeah. I mean, it was also. I mean, maybe it's a good thing. It was easily the worst part of parts one and two, the Miyagi storyline.
Oh, easily.
So
They were so
yeah,
unnecessary.
so even though it's a dangling plot thread, I'm okay not getting the answers. I think it was a waste of time.
Let me just quickly look up the Sekai Tekai from Miyagi.
The Miyagi wiki.
I am on the Karate Kid wiki. It doesn't say anything. It just says
That should be a drinking game.
it says at some
Oh
point during the
God.
1940s or 1950s, he participated in the Sekai Tekai tournament, where in one of his fights he fought a man named Claremont and accidentally killed him. Yeah, that was. Well, I think maybe they did offhandedly just say, "Well, it was different back then." Didn't they? I know they mentioned that.
Didn't
Oh my
Gunther?
God.
Didn't he? What?
No, no, no. Your mic was loud.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
blasting us.
I don't think I was talking that loud.
Continue.
Didn't Gunther say in part two? Didn't he mention something briefly about Miyagi killing him, kind of, but it was more brutal, and that's
Yeah, that's what I said.
they've,
Like, they said
Yeah,
it
so-
was different back then.
yeah,
That's
I
not
think
a justification for murdering somebody.
I think it was accidental. So
Point is, I guess we don't get the answer for it, and I really don't care either way.
I think that should also be a drinking game. If anyone watches the last season, every time Gunther says Sekai Taikai.
Yeah, but he says
I
it
think-
cool.
I know, but they should take a shot every time that dude says it.
Miyagi.
Also, Gunther just assaulted a dude over the microphone, the presentation disputes. Nothing happened. Just, when she kicked that one guy in the face.
Yeah, he probably
they're
broke
coming.
his nose. Yeah, that guy should have known his place. Talking down to Gunther like that. But I like how they
Yeah.
had that. You know, we talk about setups and payoffs. He kicks that guy in the face, and then it sets up that he wanted to do the mic, and then the guy at the end gets to announce the
Yeah.
final round where Cobra Kai comes out. I wish Johnny. This is a very small nitpick that only true Cobra Kai fans and Karate Kids would notice.
The
Johnny-
Karate Kids.
Johnny didn't have a patch on his gi that said Johnny, like how other Cobra Kai's gis have.
Oh, I
Just
didn't
gonna
know.
say.
Maybe I'm not a true fan.
Just gonna say. It was kind of weird how all the other kids, like Devin and Kenny, were just completely sidelined in this last part. I know they're not important. I'm not saying they needed justice for them or whatever, but it was just funny that they were completely they were barely in it, those last 5 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those guys, or a lot of those kids were later additions, so I'm not that upset they didn't get as much closure. I mean, you see them training with Johnny. Like, part of the reason why you want their main cast to get closure is because, they're starting literally a new chapter of their life. They're going off to
No,
college.
I'm just pointing out. I'm not saying it was a bad thing. I'm just pointing out. So I know
Plus,
you
too, I
did.
felt like
Yeah, you go.
I feel like most of their stories kind of ended already and just be kind of spinning wheels at this point. I mean, Devin, she cheated and then she kind of said, I'm sorry. Okay, whatever, move on. Kenny, his whole arc's done. He's not doing evil karate anymore. He's done. And even his other son, was it Anthony? I mean, he
Yeah,
said
he
he's
was-
sorry.
yeah,
and
he's
Kenny were
irrelevant.
cool, so
Yeah.
they're done.
Oh, there's something I was gonna say, but then I forgot. What was it? Can't
Think.
I forgot. I'm trying to. Oh God, I don't know. It'll come back to me. What are the other thoughts, Greg?
Well, I mean, the big one is Kreese.
Yeah. Are you satisfied with how his story ended?
I feel mixed on it because I thought they were making Kreese to be beyond redemption, and then they kind of 180'd because I forget it was part one or part two, but he basically tried to say, I'm cutting off Johnny Lawrence once and for all. I've no longer any attachment towards him. I'm fully committed to this. And then he kind of backtracks.
Well, I guess being indirectly responsible for a kid dying might have something to do with that, Greg.
But he doesn't care about these people. All he cares about is Johnny, which, again, that's always been the thing. He's always had a soft spot for Johnny. They made it abundantly clear.
Yeah. Johnny was
But
his weakness, his rock, if you will.
Yes, but when you say, I'm going to kill Johnny Lawrence, he's dead to me. I don't know if that is exactly what he said, but it's along the lines of what he was doing, at least
And,
metaphorically.
It would have been cool if Kreese didn't horrifically get blown up and die. It would have been a touching moment that he was at the back of the crowd, just looking at Donnie, looking at Johnny, and just like, head nodding or having his hand up like the fist, like how he did
But
in
see,
the first Karate Kid.
but see, this is where I can kind of see what they were doing because what he did was truly selfless. He's never gonna get any credit for it. Johnny might never forgive him, but he still ended up doing the right thing by sacrificing himself to stop Terry Silver from killing or, whatever
Yeah,
he's
can
gonna
we
do to
talk
Johnny's
about
family.
that? Where Terry Silver was in the midst of having a goon go to Johnny's house and have his pregnant
Oh,
wife. Oh no,
yeah.
no, not his pregnant wife. His wife who just gave birth and their newborn and the grandma hostage and possibly killed and or tortured.
Because he made abundantly clear he had nothing to lose, so he probably would have done it.
Yeah. And then Kreese kills that goon because at first I thought he was knocked out, but then there's like blood out of the guy's nose and ear. I'm like, oh, that guy might be dead. I think that guy died.
I think he might be dead.
And yeah, I mean, again, I understand thematically what they're trying to do with Kreese when he gets blown up because at that point he was just on a journey of just making peace with everybody because he knew his journey was almost over. I mean, let's be honest, he's like almost an 80-year-old man.
Well, yeah, and he's also homeless. He had no. I mean, that was a thing in the first. I don't remember what
Season 2.
season, but
Season 2.
yeah, he's living in some homeless shelter. He has no money, nowhere to go.
He lost everything after the Karate Kid Part 3. But
Yeah,
still,
just
I think if he didn't get blown up, if he was in the crowd, very far away that only Johnny could see, that Kreese was watching him, and maybe it would give more meaning to Kreese's words saying that he was always so proud of Johnny. He was able to see him succeed because there was no acknowledgement. Like, once Johnny told Kreese to skedaddle, there was no acknowledgement of what happened to Kreese or Silver amongst anybody other than Wolf saying, "Where's Silver?"
yeah, I do wish they at least acknowledge the fact that they died. Not, they have the ending montage. I'm not expecting some 10-minute diatribe like, yeah, screw Silver, he's finally dead. Just the fact that you could see them reading a newspaper saying Terry Silver dies in the yacht explosion, whatever.
Yeah, his body was recovered by the yacht or something. Even though it probably wouldn't be because he got blown up. Yeah, I agree though. Some acknowledgement of that those two people who were very pivotal parts of the Cobra Kai franchise are dead.
That's probably the one thing I felt that was missing. Just those, because I know you mentioned other characters not having really anything to do, but I kind of get it. But you said these guys were the main villains for, especially Kreese was the main villain, basically the entire show. He wasn't in season 1, but his actions and what he did affected everything.
Yeah, I just wish Kreese survived. I love Sensei Kreese. He is so insane. And what is that lady's name? The lady with the Korean lady.
I don't know.
She kills her grandfather. So much murder in this last season.
Well, I guess it was him or her, and
Would you have it any other way, Colin?
I mean, no, I guess not. But as long as they're not killing kids, I guess it's okay. She killed an old man who was an old man when Kreese was there in like the 60s. So how old is this guy really?
I really just can't get over the fact that the blowing up the yacht is like, no way. I also was partially expecting somehow Kreese to survive.
I thought we would see him at the end, kind of like the Dark Knight Rises, where Johnny could be at a restaurant and he looks up and he just sees Kreese
With a cigar and then just gives him a head nod or he does
Yeah.
his smug look.
He's just wearing a gi in some like fancy cafe.
like, so you're gonna pay for that? He just like books it.
Well, also, I think we're forgetting that in season 5, he is essentially at the end when he escaped. He's a fugitive.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to stop him. He's going wherever he wants.
Did they ever? I mean, it's not important. It really wasn't important. But did they ever mention that in season 6, where he's a fugitive that escaped United States custody?
I'm pretty sure they mentioned it.
I think he said, Craig, he didn't want Kreese redeemed at the end because he was essentially irredeemable. So how do you feel that they kind of redeemed him? How do you feel about that?
Well, that's what I said. I feel mixed because, again, no one's beyond redemption, but they basically made him unredeemable. He said, I'm shedding my weakness. I want to kill everybody in my path. Nothing's going to stop me.
Yeah.
Like, because what they were doing before, they kept kind of hinting throughout the series that, he wasn't always bad. Maybe he was, pushed this way. But his actions, he's trying to kill a bunch, like, he tried to kill Daniel-san. I forget what season was
The
it,
Shard of
season 2 or
Glass. I
3?
think it was season 3 or 4.
He was like, join your former teacher.
Yeah. Time to join Miyagi.
Yeah. And all the manipulating that he's been doing, it gets to a point where I don't think you can do a good job redeeming him, at least make it feel satisfying. I don't think it felt satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad at least he got to talk to Johnny one last time.
Oh yeah, that was a great scene.
I'm glad that got to happen. At least they didn't try to redeem Terry Silver. Not that you would or would want to, but
Yeah.
God, that guy's just straight evil. My God.
It's the cocaine.
Yeah, that might be one of the best lines of all of Cobra Kai. Man, it was the 80s. I was so hopped up on cocaine. I terrorized a high schooler for months.
Best line in the whole show.
That is a great line. They had to be. I would love to see like if their writing room was they had cameras on so we could see them laughing at all their crazy ideas when they're writing the dialogue. That is so funny. I terrorized a high schooler. It has just enough self-awareness, but it's not like those terrible self-awarenesses where they're commenting on a situation but they end up doing it, trying to act like they're
Yeah.
above it.
Like what's the thing people always say? It's like, oh, that just happened.
Yeah.
I hate every time I hear that. I hate it so much.
Isn't
Yes,
it-
it happened. We're watching the movie. Like,
Yeah.
Stop acting like you're the audience. Don't say that.
Isn't it corny when so and so happens and then it happens and they look at they're looking and they say, "Yeah, so that happened, huh?"
You can't do that. You don't get to cop out your bad writing.
Yeah, this had just enough self-awareness where they weren't making fun of the situation. Because again, that's always something that I loved about Cobra Kai was that what was happening was really dumb, but the characters treated it like it was life and death, and that's what made it so great.
Yeah, the karate wars.
They actually cared about what was happening.
Yeah, the good guys won in the karate wars of the valley.
I also remember what you. Okay, there's two things. I remember, Craig, you thought one of your predictions was that Quan didn't die when we did our last Cobra Kai episode. Well, how do you feel now?
I don't really care. I mean,
And oh yeah, you go.
it's a soap opera, so you have to understand. In soap operas, characters die and come back all the time, or they get seemingly
What
brutally
soap
injured.
operas do you watch?
Well, I remember, it's kind of like a thing. Part of my knowledge of soap operas is from Futurama, so
Okay.
that's what I'm basing it on.
Oh, I just forgot what I was going to say again too. Oh,
Did you keep track of all of our predictions,
no, I remember that though. 'Cause
or just targeting me?
no, well, I already mentioned my prediction where I was completely wrong about Hilary Swank. I just remember that because I looked back at when we were recording that in November. I looked back at Netflix and I watched it. And I was like, "There's a knife in his chest, Craig. How do you think he survived that?"
Like I said, it's a soap opera. People could survive crazy things.
I am
Hey, you were
Quan
thinking
the
that
White.
Kreese could have survived the boat explosion, all right?
Well, I was thinking that he slipped off and it blew up.
There is more plausibility that he could have jumped off and survived that, as opposed to someone resurrecting after getting impaled.
No, there's no chance.
Craig,
that
it was like
80-year-old
it was a
man-
wide shot, and I'm thinking,
Craig, he broke out of prison. He's assaulted multiple minors. This man is capable. He killed his commanding officer in Vietnam.
So I've seen people kind of complain that we didn't get backstory redemption for I guess Axel and what was her name, Zara.
yeah, they're set up as antagonists. No one cares.
Yeah, they're not our characters that we've been with for 6 seasons. So people wanting redemption for them is kind of a silly thing to ask.
In a way, Axel did, and he defied Wolf. It was a short redemption or a short arc, but it's an arc nonetheless.
And Zara didn't get anything, mainly because I don't think she's an actress.
Well,
And-
also, yeah, it's not supposed to be a sympathetic character. She was supposed to be a really good karate person who would broadcast her stuff on social media. I don't know.
And let's be honest. People want to see people like that get hit in the face. So the fact that she got her tooth knocked out, I think people were pretty happy.
Yeah, like what? Realistically, if you're one of those weirdos that were wanting a redemption arc for those two, at least for Zara, what could you possibly think would happen? What is she redeeming? Her behavior? Like,
I don't know, man. I see people with the cameras filming themselves 24/7. I really wish when I get the urge to smash their phone. So seeing her get hit in the face felt pretty good for me.
people really
And
wanted.
that's what they were going for.
Yeah, people really wanted a redemption for that, or for those two.
People are stupid.
Okay, that's fair. What about you, Daniel? What else did you like, or what didn't you like? Oh,
If there was anything I really didn't like.
You know what I saw that was pretty funny?
yes, Craig.
So I forget what episode. It all kind of blurs together. I know what happens, but everything blurs together. But
Yeah.
one of the episodes when they come back to Korea and there's old sensei was so mad that they lost that he pulls out a scroll how to better torture people.
Oh yeah. And he makes his students. Listen again. Karate show doesn't stop. Not everything makes sense. But what is the tactical purpose of having your students injure themselves and they might go to another tournament? What kind of logic is that? Why are they hurting themselves?
It's so over the top and so funny that
Yeah.
again, like I said, why would you injure your own students
Yeah.
to a point where they can't fight anymore?
It would have made more sense if Kreese was like, no, we need to go back to this tournament and find our honor again. And then the old sensei was like, nope, we're not, and then he was having them hurt themselves intentionally, making Kreese watch. It made no sense. But he was the one that wanted to push them back to the tournament. And Kreese was like, no, we're not doing the tournament.
Yeah, Kreese didn't want to go back.
Well, like I said, I know you were saying before, I guess the death kind of shook him up.
Well, yeah, it was the death of a kid that he is indirectly responsible to, because he's the one. Well, he was going to kill Silver. He brought that knife to kill Silver. Man is insane.
Which
Oh, we love him.
I know what you mean, though, Craig. It's kind of bittersweet because you almost don't want him redeemed. You just want him to be insane.
That too. I think he's more fun as an insane person.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I always liked when he was kind of two-faced, where he'd be trying to play the sensitive angle, but he was always like he's just some doddering old man. But he had something up his sleeve the whole time. I always loved that.
Oh,
Yeah.
like those
I got-
therapy scenes where he was trying to pretend like, oh, woe is me. I'm an old man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Don't mind me.
Woe is me. Woe is me.
I'm a war veteran. I got PTSD. Oh man.
I killed my commanding officer.
I have mixed feelings on Kreese's redemption because I think it was just so sudden. This dude had so many chances of turning back, and then one kid dying, even though he's assaulted many. He's tried to how many times has he attempted to murder people? He literally blew up a yacht. He literally blew himself up with someone else.
Well,
Just
he
so-
had nothing
you know,
to live for at that point. He was at peace. And he was
I
protecting
understand.
Johnny. He was like, I'm going to bring you down. You will not.
Understand.
touch him."
I think if it was more of like mutual, he blows himself up with Silver, but maybe not in the sense of like he's just trying to defend Johnny. More of like he's so hell bent on just vengeance against Silver with no other motive than just try to kill
No,
him.
I
That
like
just-
that he was trying to protect Johnny. He always
Well, that's
the
why-
big thing was he always cared about Johnny.
No, that's why I'm saying I have mixed feelings because I appreciate it. I think it's just more of the fact that it was so sudden. It takes some random kid to die for him to finally realize.
All right, well, it was
you know,
some random
in a
kid. It was a kid that he was training that he handpicked.
Yeah, but it's not like
Colin,
people
he tried to
look at him.
choke out a couple seasons before. Tried to choke out Johnny. He was going to kill Johnny in the dojo before Daniel showed up and saved him. And he was going
I
to shank
know.
Daniel.
I know, but Kreese has grown, and he wanted to protect Johnny because I'm not going to justify everything Kreese did because the man was an insane mongrel. But up until that point, he's reflected
Colin's-
on everything, and he wanted
Collins
to
is
save
lawyer.
Johnny. No, he was protecting.
Listen,
Johnny
Your Honor.
because Kreese was going to do some nefarious things. Not Kreese. Silver was going to do some
Yeah.
nefarious things to Johnny's family to have him throw that match. And then Kreese said, no, I'm going to kill your henchman, and I'm going to kill you.
That's better in the way he mutually assured destruction. There's no, he's there hoisting them up at the end. I'm glad they did not go that route because that would have threw me for a loop. Kreese is there. I'm like a proud dad.
Yeah, that would have done well. But like I said, it was truly selfless of him because, again, he's never going to get the credit for what he did, but he ended up doing the absolute right thing to protect
Yeah.
Johnny.
I think, you know what it is it's not that I don't like what they did. I knew they were going to redeem him in some capacity. I think it's just weird all of a sudden seeing him do something good when we've seen all the countless crimes we've seen him commit over not only the course of the season, but including the movies too. He tried to choke out Johnny in the parking lot. It was just weird at first seeing it, but I knew they were going to redeem him, and I do like how he went out, go out with a bang.
Again, if they just maybe didn't try to have him go all in on, again, shedding his weakness, I feel like this could have been an easier thing to stomach. Because obviously he was bad the entire
If he
time.
didn't have that whole thing in part 1 of season 6 where he kills Johnny in his mind, this would be a more easier thing for the audience to accept. Because if he was
Because
more,
with the way they were going.
even if he was reluctant, because in the way they treated it, he was finally shedding his weakness and he was fully committed to doing it. But if it was a reluctant kill, I think it would have been a lot better in part 1. That's knowing what we know now. At the time, I don't think any of us back then in July, when part 1 came out, we would have expected Kreese and Silver to blow up in a boat.
Yeah, that was.
If anyone accurately predicted that, I give my hats off to you.
Imagine, Kreese and Silver have a final epic battle on a yacht that blows up.
And they only
I'm
have
just
the yacht
picture-
because Silver doesn't have the homes anymore because he's essentially almost broke. He doesn't have anything.
Well, it's his
I
fault
just-
for wasting his money on karate wars.
I'm just you just
Crying.
imagine the writers' room for that. How are we gonna get rid of these two? And they're all just scratching their heads.
No, they
And someone goes,
definitely knew. They
"Oh
definitely
no! But I'm saying it would have been funny to think, got it, we're gonna blow them up on a yacht. Yes.
Love it. Genius.
Brilliant.
I mean,
Yeah.
listen, this is a Cobra Kai show. The CGI was abysmal when that boat blew up. It was really bad.
Did they actually blow up the yacht?
Of course not. It was just a
Yeah.
horrible CGI explosion.
Yeah, when I watched it,
Oh
I was
yeah.
like,
Oh
my
yeah.
God, that looks
Yeah,
terrible.
but so every television. How many of them actually have that good of CGI?
Maybe they blew their budget on that Miyagi deep fake AI
They probably
when
did.
they were fighting the skeletons, which is another weird scene where the whole arc gets resolved in a dream.
Where Miyagi batters children.
Yes, but apparently Miyagi is like a force ghost talking to Daniel-san in
Craig,
his
are you
dreams.
even remotely surprised at this point? Mr. Miyagi is not just a man; he is an
The myth,
essence.
the
He is
legend.
No, he is the god of the Cobra Kai universe.
He is in the SSSS tier, Craig.
He literally is a deity in that universe.
I'm surprised through all of Daniel's obsession with Miyagi, he didn't create a religion around Miyagi. He essentially prayed to him every day.
I mean, his dojo is essentially a cult.
Yeah, it's like a shrine of Miyagi.
Oh, quick tangent. I
Yes.
thought it was hilarious when they were talking about the two dojos working together. They showed Cobra Kai acting like a normal functional dojo, and they still showed Miyagi, doing like sanding the thing, like wax on, wax off, like all the moves he was doing in the first one. They're still doing. Like, imagine being a new student, like we saw on the show. Like you're trying to have us do free manual labor. Like you're still doing this.
The one thing I thought for a second at the end, I thought that Johnny, because I wouldn't put it past them, and I also was kind of hoping they did. Part of me kind of hoped they did for the cheesy effect. Johnny flying eagle kick the guy to win it.
I was
the
thinking
crane
that
kick?
too.
The crane kick, sorry, not flying eagle. He crane kick him because he kept backing up, and then he looked at Daniel. And Daniel gave him a head, and I was like, "No way, they're about to do this." And part of me was like, "Oh no," but also part of me was like, "Yes." I was like, "Please, it's the '80s. Expect it. Just go full schlock and just have him crane kick the guy."
Well, there's one
Because
thing
also,
we didn't
too-
mention. Oh, you continue.
Well, because I was gonna say, also, it wouldn't have been that cheesy or eye roll because that's also how he lost, and this is the ending. It would pay off to be full circle like that.
And they were talking about it before the fight.
Yeah. Not that I was upset how he beat him, but I was a little disappointed they didn't just go full schlock and just do the crane kick and bring it back.
I mean, maybe they figured they reached the limit of how much can we reference the original movie, because there were so many, I think, shots that were just like the original movie. There were some beats, of Robbie getting hurt.
That was more deserving them to rehash that, them bringing in some nameless goon and other guy that was in the tournament that had no speaking lines.
Well, they said he was a former champion. Like, who is this guy? Like, I swear,
When
I don't
did he
remember
win?
him
Because
in the movie.
we know, according to the Miyagi-Verse lore,
Didn't Johnny
won in
beat
82
him?
and 83. And I believe in 83 he was undefeated. In 84 was when Daniel won. So this guy must either be a year younger than... Maybe he won after Daniel? But no,
Did
Daniel won in
beat him?
85.
Did Daniel beat him on the run, or
No, I
did
think
Johnny
Cobra
beat him?
Kai or Johnny beat him. So this guy
Well,
either is the same age or he won in 81 before Johnny.
Or I guess he maybe won after Danielson.
But Daniel won in 85 again.
Oh yeah, maybe he won in 86 then.
He would be out of high school by then. If he was in the same... Oh, maybe not. Maybe he was a freshman fighting against Johnny in 84.
A very old-looking freshman.
Yeah. I'm sure the
But-
Karate Kid Wikipedia in the Miyagi-Verse has all the answers. What I was going to say was, we didn't talk about our boy Chosen at all. Are you
Yeah,
guys
he was
satisfied?
sidelined for most of it.
Well, yeah, but are you satisfied with what happens to him at the end?
I mean, you had a feeling that was going to happen because they basically set
Yeah.
it up in part 2. He's going to end up with that woman.
Yeah. Kumiko
I
does
did-
not
I
view
did- my-
Chosen as a lover, but as a
Yeah,
friend.
I mean, my favorite Chosen part was when they try to set him up with the hippie mom. He just kept calling everything she liked just crap to her
It's
face.
stupid. No chill.
Yeah, but,
I mean, I
any
was happy
Chosen,
that
Chosen in limited
Yeah, yeah.
quantity is still good Chosen.
yeah.
Chosen is great.
I was happy that he did put that lady in some.
I like everyone had a
nice
happy ending. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's something
Yeah,
else
that
I
was
was
the whole
going to say
Chosen
and I
thing. He
forgot.
was trying so hard to get a woman, and I guess he finally got somebody. So yeah, he got his happy ending. That was the whole thing. He kept crying about how he's lonely, he doesn't have anybody in his life. Now he finally has somebody to build a life with. So it's a good ending for him.
Yeah. And what's crazy too, what I noticed is how jacked Chosen is. He's wearing that gi. I was like, oh my god, why doesn't he just fight the sensei? He'd probably beat that guy.
Well, you know why? Yeah, because
I
that's
know,
his story.
I
but-
know thematically, I understand. I'm just saying. Realistically, Chosen would destroy Ralph Macchio. Oh my God.
Yes, but he's not as balanced and he
Oh,
hasn't
that's
been.
right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, but yeah, I like that you mentioned too. Everyone got their happy ending, which is what you want to see in these kind of
Yeah.
endings.
Except Silver, he got blown up.
Oh yeah, the bad guys get their comeuppance. Good
Terry
guys get their
Silver, more
happy
like
ending.
Terry melted. I
Wait, what's the melting point of Silver?
don't know.
Whatever. But
You can look that
because
up
it
right now,
reminds me of
Craig.
other franchises where
Look it up, Colin. Stat that.
I got it. Continue, Craig.
yeah, but you think of other franchises where characters don't get happy endings. In fact, I think the writers tend to relish on the fact they make their characters as miserable as possible. Like, I like the fact that this show actually was willing to do what normal people used to do 20 years ago and kind of give their
Yeah.
long-running series a happy ending.
Terry 1763 degrees Fahrenheit.
I chuckled when Daniel at the end was just like, "You're all right, Lawrence." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
then we had to rehash that."
Yeah. No, that was nice. It was a giant full circle moment. I just had a big smile on my face. I was like, I was so happy for Johnny. Because again, it was leading up to, you would be happy for him no matter what, even if he lost. Because again, as we said, he already won. It didn't matter. But I am glad he got that win, and he's finally
And
teaching
I was-
the way of the fist properly with Cobra Kai.
I was also happy too. They really cut down on the Daniel-san and Johnny fighting, like arguing, bickering. Like
Yeah,
it
that-
was fun. It was fun in the first
Yeah.
couple seasons, but it was kind of grating on me in the last couple seasons because like these
Yeah.
guys are adults. They really can't
Yeah.
stop bickering every chance they can get.
It was very refreshing to see that they were done with that. They're on the same page. Let's go.
Yeah, it's like again, it was fun in the first couple seasons because they were old rivals, when whatever you want to say about them. But again, they are friends, even if they won't admit it. They were friends for a while, and they need to stop with the dumb bickering. So I was happy that was finally done.
Yeah.
Even our boy Stingray got a happy ending. He's
No,
officially
he's a bum.
Colin,
I was happy
his
to
life
see
goal
yet.
is literally, yeah. We never said he had high bars for himself, but he reached the peak, his mountaintop. He's now a sensei at Cobra Kai.
At the second location of Cobra Kai. Yeah, I'm glad that they went back to the original dojo where Johnny opened up, and then he has a line out the door. So great
Yeah, I
ending
mean,
for
we-
Johnny.
I think we all predicted that it was coming back to the All Valley somehow. We knew
Yeah, I
that
think
was coming.
Yeah, I think we all said that because it's the only thing that made sense. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. Do you remember when Sam was leaving for Okinawa and she sees her dad and she says Jersey tough, but he said no, Valley tough.
Well, I always think of us because we always made fun of like the Jersey tough, even though they all grew up in California.
I think Sam was
Ugh.
born in California, canonically speaking.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it makes sense they kind of changed that dumb
Also,
phrase into a more appropriate.
Daniel hasn't been in Jersey since he was like 15.
Yeah, since he left, he the last time he was in Jersey was the very opening of The Karate Kid, which was in 1984.
He was in what? He was from Newark.
I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, Valley Tough. At least maybe they actually watched our episode and saw that we made fun of the Jersey Tough, and like, you guys have a point. Make it Valley Tough.
Yeah, Valley tough. That makes more sense.
Oh, we'll take credit for that.
You imagine if they were getting inspiration for the show from us?
I mean, I don't know what they would possibly do except for that one thing we talked about. Because we've always complimented the show. We loved it.
Yeah, maybe they did, like they said they tried to
Honestly-
get Hilary Swank, but they couldn't, and it's not for lack of trying, I guess.
I think it's better she's not there because she was not connected with any of the other characters. The only character she was connected with is dead.
Before they resolved the Miyagi thing, I thought she could have given Daniel some comfort about, and maybe she knew something that he didn't.
Daniel flies out to where was she? In Massachusetts, right?
Yeah, something like
Something
that.
like that. She was on the East Coast. Imagine he flew back over there.
Or she flew back because she heard about the Cobra Kai, the Sekai Tekai, and she saw Daniel on TV. Because again, anyone who's anyone was watching the Sekai Tekai.
I mean, they even had Ryan Clark calling it, so and Burkhardt, it's a big deal.
Yeah. God, Burkhardt's probably the most paid play-by-play announcer. How the Sekai Tekai afford him?
I know, right? And like it deals with ESPN and was it Fox Sports or whatever?
Yeah. Any other thoughts about the Cobra Kai? I'm upset that the new Karate Kid movie, Karate Kid Legends, isn't going to have Johnny in it at all. But again, Johnny's story is done.
Is that a fact? Like,
I think it says it has very little to do with Cobra Kai, the show.
because I could have sworn I checked on the wiki and I think they said he might have a cameo,
Oh, really?
or maybe they changed it.
Maybe they changed it. Yeah, let's see.
'Cause maybe I could check the edit.
Featuring a
because I know for
storyline placed
fact-
3 years after the events of the final season of Cobra Kai. It is the sixth film, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Despite maintaining the original title, oh, that's the remake, yeah, focus on Kung Fu. Maybe we should review that movie sometime soon. the Karate
Which
Kid
one?
with Jaden Smith.
Oh
I don't
God.
think we ever did that.
We don't have to.
Yeah, I don't see anything
They said
that
it takes
says...
place.
Yeah, 2
'Cause-
years after Cobra Kai. Oh,
Yeah, I
one
just
thing that I think I did predict wrongly back maybe in season 4 or season 5 when I said something along the lines of whenever the show would end, I thought Johnny was going to get a lump sum of money, like inheritance money from Sid, because if you guys didn't know, the actor who played Sid, Ed Asner, passed away, I believe, in 2021 or 2022. So I thought they would use his real life death off screen, and then at the end, Johnny, he finds out that he wrote Johnny in his will and he gets all of his money. So Johnny would never have to worry about money for his family.
maybe that happens down the road because this ending is probably better because he actually got his hard earned.
I know. I'm just
That's
saying,
like okay, that's icing on the cake for his family.
because they mentioned in the background that Sid was still alive, even though the
I
actor
mean, it
passed
doesn't really
away.
matter if he's alive or not.
I know. I
The
was just saying.
character.
I thought that was going to happen, but again, I was so wrong.
So I was thinking they're making another Karate Kid movie, and
Yes.
I guess we're gonna move on to the future of the franchise.
Yes.
Are people even looking forward to this? Because
No.
I mean, how many we've had four, I guess, in the original four movies. We had the reboot, remake, whatever, with Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith's weird son. Then they rebooted or brought it back again with Cobra Kai, which
Will
was
Smith's
great.
weird son.
What did I say?
You said Jaden Smith's weird
Jaden
son.
Smith's weird
Oh, yeah,
son.
yeah, Will Smith's weird son. And looks like it's going to be similar to again the original Cobra Kai. It's hard to take a lot of plot points from it. Do people really want to see another version of the original Karate Kid? Because even the season 6, a lot of beats from the first movie. But again, it's done with our characters over the course of 6 seasons, so it feels a lot different. But they're introducing like Mr. Han, who cares about him? We love Jackie Chan, but who cares about Mr. Han? And some new kid. I mean, who cares? See the same
Yeah.
movie again?
It literally looks like
Yeah.
Karate Kid and the Karate Kid 2010 the same.
Because they were supposed to have a sequel after that one much earlier, but I think there were issues with the people leaving the project, the script and stuff, so this is way, way past anything. Because I think they were originally set to have a sequel with Jaden Smith again, but it fell through.
I think
I mean,
I'm
did you
perfectly
see him?
fine if
What?
this is the end of the Miyagi-Verse. Like, after Karate Kid Legends, I'm not sure what else you could really do. Cobra Kai was perfect because they took a little incident. I think it originally started off as a joke, I think the creator said, where they appeared
Oh,
on
it was-
How You Met
yeah, it
Your
was-
Mother, that show, Ralph Macchio and Bill Zabka. And then it kind of evolved into what it is now. And I don't know, I feel like Cobra Kai was the perfect amount of sincerity and ridiculousness. And anything else that tries to match that will honestly just be copying. I think Cobra Kai is lightning in a bottle for the Karate Kid, for the Miyagi-Verse. So I really don't know what else they could do. That's what they call it. They call it the Miyagi-Verse.
Because I'm just thinking of the new movie Karate Kid Legends. I think at best it's just going to be mid and boring. I can't see it being anything special.
But I'm just trying to think of any logical way for Mr. Han to try to bring this guy from China all the way to the Valley to ask some random guy, "Hey,
Well, are they
I
in the
need
Valley?
you
I
to
thought they were
train
in New
him."
York. Are they in New York?
I thought they were in
What?
China.
Are they in China?
Wait, from Mr. Han? Did you guys ever see the
No,
one with
no,
Jaden
no,
Smith or
no.
no?
I thought the movie right now, the new one, will take place in New York. Karate Kid Legends.
But
I know
Mr. Han is from
Han,
China.
I know that. God,
So my thing is why is this going to New York?
I
Or
don't
why is
know.
this going to America? That's
I'm
my
a
only thing.
devoted
is, like,
fan of the Miyagi-Verse. Of course I know this stuff. I think we should
Right.
do an episode on Jade Smith Karate Kid movie. Just so we cover the whole Miyagi-Verse.
I'd rather just talk about we talk about Jaden Smith for the whole podcast, all the weird stuff he's tweeted out or whatever.
Yeah, he is a interesting individual. You remember that? This is a little bit of a tangent. You remember that stretch of where he would just tweet things like mirrors don't have eyes or something? Or most trees are blue. Like, he said the most weird things imaginable.
He'd make those weird videos.
I still love the fact that in Practical Joker, Sal got his face tattooed to his
Oh,
thigh.
yeah, of Jade Smith. Yeah. That's such a shameful thing.
Not only is this movie just completely unnecessary, but I'm just wondering, how are we going to tie in Daniel LaRusso to what way would Mr. Han want to seek his help?
Maybe he knows the legend of Miyagi, so he seeks out Daniel, who is Mr. Miyagi's surrogate son, possibly worshiper.
What is it? Acolyte?
Yeah. Could you imagine if there's some spin-off where they reveal that Mr. Miyagi actually was his father?
Karate Kid acolyte.
But we've also heard Daniel-san or Ralph Macchio, he wants to do a Cobra Kai movie in a couple of years.
Oh
I don't know what
no.
you would do.
Like them coming back after college or something like that.
After
Honestly,
college, they're gonna all look so old.
I mean, I don't know what his plans were. All I saw was the headline, he wants a Cobra Kai movie in a few years. Which also
Listen,
makes
yeah.
sense. I mean, they got a huge financial interest in this. This is probably
Yeah.
the most money he's made in his entire life, so...
So I will say this to the Cobra Kai movie. I would only be interested if the showrunners and creators of Cobra Kai returned. Because I'm sure those guys, it's like Hayden Schlossberg and Justin Hurwitz, right? I'm sure those two guys will be able to come up with something. Let me see. I think that's what their name is. They're the guys who did Harold and Kumar. Yeah, Josh Shield, John Hurwitz, and Hayden Schlossberg.
Mm.
If those three are involved and they write, direct the movie, I will have faith that it'll at least be fun.
And Creases comes back somehow.
He's like Luke Skywalker. He just is a ghost.
Oh my god, you imagine if they did that?
Crease the
Miyagi
White.
so
You blew up.
Yeah.
I am Crease the White.
No. They do Terry Silver. Terry Silver the White. He just starts doing cocaine again.
No, Terry Silver would still be dead. You wouldn't bring him back.
I think of like Force Ghost, like when they ascended to a higher plane of karate.
And then they have to have like a disgustingly egregious CGI Miyagi again.
But it's more training you have to do, Daniel-san, to become a karate ghost.
Aye, Miyagi back. I
Yeah,
love
Ghost Crease. They thought they shut the coffin on me.
They thought they shut
So
me out
stupid.
from heaven. So is
Oh
there
my
any...
god, could you
Yeah, Craig, you go.
could you imagine they actually have the karate ghost introduce like heaven and hell are fighting? It's like they also use karate to fight each other. Just something really ridiculous.
Crease is trying to create an army in hell, so that's why everyone has to come back from college to stop him.
It's like angels versus demons.
Except instead of like using their divine power, it's just karate.
It's just using defense. The Miyagi
Heaven
way.
uses defense,
Miyagi
hell uses
Do.
offense.
Is there any other final thoughts about Cobra Kai?
No.
I mean, it
Sad-
was a
sad-
nice ride.
Yeah, sad to see it go, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm also glad that they ended before they went out on a whimper.
Yeah, I was just about
Yeah.
to say that, Daniel. I'm glad they didn't go out on
Yeah.
a whimper. It's really sad that Cobra Kai is over, but as they
Don't
say,
be sad that it's over. Be happy that it happened.
yes, exactly. We will always have the emotional high of watching Johnny Lawrence's redemption story.
I mean, I do think it's important for TV shows because we've heard TV shows over the years like Game of Thrones, Lost, that people hate the ending so much that it's become almost a meme where they're
Yeah.
known notorious for having such terrible endings that people hate the show now. Like this is
Well,
an example.
yeah.
People will always love the show.
Yeah, and then there's no shot of having that second generation of fans because you have everyone else that watched it like, yeah, don't ever watch this again.
Because you Lost in Game of Thrones, no one ever tells you
Yeah.
to watch anymore because of how
Yeah.
horrible the ending was. This we could always recommend to people.
Yes, I love Cobra Kai. Definitely one of my probably most favorite shows ever. I don't really watch a lot of shows, but I always loved Cobra
Oh,
Kai. I'd watch the midnight releases of Cobra Kai dropping. I'm gonna miss that. I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself.
You'll have Monarch
Sleep.
season 2.
I will not have that. No, you can take it.
Yeah, you can do the midnight review for midnight release.
Yeah, but I think it's sad to see it go, but we'll probably maybe do an episode on the Jade Smith Karate Kid movie, and then we're definitely going to do one on Karate Kid Legends. It says it comes out in May, the end of May, so not really looking forward to it, but I'm curious.
Maybe we could get Machio and Zapka on the podcast.
I don't think we could afford them.
Well, it was like 10 years ago. We could afford them.
Yeah. But you know what? They had a good run. Looked like everyone had a lot of fun. It was cool seeing everybody grow up, even though the story is really over the stretch of 2 years, I believe. A year and a half, maybe 2 years.
No, it had to be more than that, right? Because
No, I think it was. It's like maybe 2 years. It's not.
Well,
Not any more than that.
was it? They were sophomores season 1, right?
I think so.
Because
I'm confused because I thought there were
I
three
think-
All Valleys. I thought there was the one Miguel won, then Hawk
Rob-
won it, right?
well, didn't Robbie win it?
So I think
No.
at this point it's 2 years because it starts in 2018. Season 1 through 3 is in 2018. Season 4 is 2019, and then season 5 is the end of summer 2019. So this is 2019 fall to 2020 May or June of graduation. There you have it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they were sophomores when it started.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know there were 2 tournaments we saw. Yeah, Hawk won one, and then Miguel won the other.
So maybe instead of season 1 is 2017, like fall 2017 then. But it's still the same thing, like fall 2017 to June 2020. I think that's the timeline. I'm gonna go
Okay,
with
yeah,
that.
that
Yeah,
makes sense.
makes
No,
sense.
it makes sense because 3 years. Granted, they had to kind of make them graduate because the actors are getting too old.
Wait,
Yeah.
so I just want to clarify for the Sekai Takai, they all had to be the same age, right?
I think it was still under 18, I believe.
Yeah, there's no shot that Axel got. They could have gotten someone that looked
But
younger.
that's the charm. They're all adults.
Shit, it looked like a Terminator.
They look like the biggest guy possible.
That's the appeal.
Honestly, I'm just they didn't call him Terminator. Like they called him Axe. Well,
Well,
Terminator.
no,
They call-
didn't Hawk call him like a Terminator or like a monster? Oh yeah, because that's
Like
when Sam's like,
Frankenstein's monster. Yeah.
Sam's like, you don't know what he's going through. That eye roll scene. She's like, he's not a monster, something like that.
He looks like one. You see the guy?
Yeah, I would say that. It's like
It's
we're
like
supposed to be
in-
17. Why is
It's
there
like
a
Nessie
25-year-old man
Classified,
in this
where
tournament?
They're all supposed to be in middle school, and then you have the 8th graders look like 25-year-old men in varsity jackets. But I love Cobra Kai. It's sad that it's ended, but it didn't drag on till it got stupid. So good ending for Cobra Kai. I'm gonna miss it.
The best ending you could ever have for a TV show is the good ending where you want to rewatch the show from the beginning right as it ends.
Yes, to see the journey. Part of the journey is the end, as Tony Stark once said. Well, while Marvel was still good. While Marvel was still good, Craig.
Yeah, it's kind of slipping at that point, but that's a discussion for another day.
But with all of that being said, this has been the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours.
I'm Craig.
I'm Sensei Colin.
I'm Sensei Craig.
Hi. And I'm Sensei Daniel.
And Cobra Kai never dies!